Welcome to Health Styles, where we believe that everything you eat, drink, and think directly affects your health. I'm your host, Carol Dean. Did you know that chiropractors can help you with detoxification programs, that they can help you with candida, losing weight, and even musicians with the carpal tunnel syndrome? Well, our guest today, Dr. Arlo Gordin, will enlighten you on some of these wonderful new techniques. Now, what's the best whole wheat bread? Well, we'll give you the whole wheat shebang on the health tips section. And Dr. Murray Susser has his questioning medicine section today with advice for us on our immune systems. Dr. Deepak Chopra has excerpts from his new book, Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. That's our show, and now let's start with our health tips section. Well, ever since some Stone Ager mashed up a bunch of grain and let it sit on a sun-drenched rock, bread has been part of our lives. And since we eat so much of it every day, it's very important to know which bread to eat and why. What's so important? Well, bread has the largest amount of sodium of anything you'll eat in the day. Plus, it can be a very good source of fiber if you get the right brand. The most important thing to look for is look at the back of the bread at the ingredients, and the first ingredient on the label should say whole wheat or whole oats. If not, you've lost the vitamin and mineral-rich germ bran, and the fiber has all been stripped away. Here's some tips. Look for bread with whole wheat in the name, because this is part of the new law. If it has it in the name, it must be whole wheat. Now, 2 slices of whole wheat bread contain about 4 grams of fiber, and 2 slices of many of the light white breads contain 5 or 6 grams. However, you're eating a white flour, which is really not good for your body. Well, are rye, pumpernickel, sourdough, and French bread any better for you? No, because you're not getting much whole grain. Most of these are made with white flour. Now, some of the best breads that we found through the Center for Science that are low in sodium, low in fat, high in fiber, and are whole wheat are Lifestream, Oro Wheat's Light 100 Whole Wheat, Food for Life, and Natural Ovens. Now, if you'd like the full list from Center for Science, just give us a call with the number at the end of the show and we'll send it to you, because they are the very best source of information that we have in the country right now. Now it's time to go to Dr. Murray Susser's office, and we'll be right back with Dr. Arlo Gordin and learn how chiropractors are helping weight loss, candida, and many other problems.
So the immune system is a whole system in the body consisting of white cells and globulins, which are made into antibodies, and other proteins like interferons and complements and interleukins, and all this complexity of substances go together to create a system which fights against any kind of disturbance in the body's health. Immunity means freedom. In the original Greek, it meant freedom from taxation. Freedom from taxation would be wonderful. I think freedom from disease is even more wonderful. So the immune system is your body's defense against imprisonment from disease. The immune system then is a, well, it's almost like saying your health, your body. The immune system is your health.
Well, that's... Hi. Okay, we're interviewing today our chiropractor, Dr. Gordin, and I understand that chiropractors have come a long way since the days when they just cracked backs. Yes?
Well, we've come a long way. We've become the largest natural healing profession in the world. And of course, there are a lot of different directions that individual chiropractors have gone as they've specialized, just as medicine has its various specialties and directions.
It's fantastic. Well, tell us what's happening in your industry. Give us an idea of where the new direction is.
Well, in the niche of the chiropractic world that I'm most interested in, our look is at holistic health.
So you're looking at the whole body.
The whole body, helping people find the natural and alternative ways of getting well and staying well that the population is really looking for now, and it's not so easy to find the answers.
But you I noticed, use the kinesiology, so you ask the body what's wrong with the body.
With muscle testing and applied kinesiology, you can actually use that technique to discover a number of things about the body that are difficult to diagnose elsewise. And expensive to diagnose health-wise, and sometimes with an accuracy that goes way ahead of what you can do with other diagnostic methods.
So you're really looking at the body, into the body, to determine which organ or which organs are off.
Absolutely. You can use muscle testing techniques to discover where a knee cartilage is displaced, or that a liver is malfunctioning, or that the right ovary is where the problem is, or the thyroid gland, let's say.
Okay, well, let's take thyroid, because low thyroid is a major problem with a lot of people these days. So if someone came to you for an adjustment, or because they weren't feeling good, they were tired, and what would, to a chiropractor, let's say, and they checked them out, what would they do? How could they find out that it was that
Well, if you were going to a chiropractor who did more of the holistic approach, and not one who merely specialized in taking care of a limited system of the body rather than the whole body, one of the things that would be done would be to evaluate the thyroid in several main ways. One is, if you know the thyroid's under functioning, and we can do the muscle testing, see where that problem is. With muscle tests now, we can differentiate the type of thyroid under functioning, and we can also differentiate the neck nerve communication that goes to the thyroid that comes from the lower neck that's often critical. I've been through information, reviewed information where a number of patients who were put on thyroid hormone or had had thyroid surgeries where part or all of their thyroid had been removed.
Yes, so many people have had that.
Way too common. And we study those people and discover that their neck curves are damaged directly on the nerves that go to the thyroid.
The nerves are damaged,
Right.
so then you have to really work with those too.
From a whiplash injury, let's say. It's quite common that you'll get a person and they go through a car accident and they say, oh my God, I'm gaining weight and I feel awful, and they haven't really recovered. I've had the pleasure of reviewing a lot of cases that have been through that, and then what we've been able to discover is that one of the components, besides the nutritional side, is checking that lower neck. We reviewed a case not long ago of a woman who had been running, and she was playing a sport, and she had run into a wire and it had crossed her neck. Her thyroid had gone haywire, and for years she had become disabled.
And she didn't relate that to the accident.
Hadn't a clue.
Oh my gosh.
Hadn't a clue until an uncle of hers had learned about some of the things that we're talking about now, mentioned it to her. She got to a chiropractor over in Hawaii who knew the holistic approach, fixed up her lower neck, put her on the right thyroid nutrients, and she went right out and started swimming in the ocean. Before that, she couldn't even ride in a car. She was literally bound to her home, and a woman in her young 20s.
Oh, that's fabulous, fabulous. So that and looking at the whole body, that sometimes an early accident can be the cause of a weight gain or of tiredness or strange symptoms.
It can be. It's one of the things that can, directly through the thyroid or in the stress that can be occasioned through an injury, let's say just having to worry about how am I going to fix my car, what's happening with the lawsuit, what happened with my lost work.
We're hearing that there's a lot of back problems that cause from stress. What percentage would you say is this?
To say which part are caused wholly by stress, I wouldn't want to make a guess. But to look over the number of health problems and back problems where stress and its related effects on the body are crucial to why that person isn't well and to getting them well, well, that's a huge number. Maybe 75%.
Wow. So how do you help a person who has a lot of bills to pay or problems like that? You can't solve those problems. What do you do for their health?
It's nice to be able to at least direct them into the direction of solving problems. Unsolved problems that just stack up and worry you are going to be an ongoing source of unnecessary stress if they could be resolved. Everyone has stress. The only final solution to stress is dying. We all have stress during life. You don't get away from all of it. But being able to cope with the stress you have and being able to boost that part of your system that deals with stress, which is so critical to being well, that's something that you can have.
So which part of the system deals with stress?
Mainly the brain, the nerves, and the gland system.
So how do you strengthen those areas?
Well, there are different ways you can strengthen them. Nutrition is one of the most available, effective, cost-effective, harmless ways of going about it. Food is one aspect of it, and for the vast majority of people who, even if they had all the information about food, wouldn't apply it anyhow, because their lifestyles are too busy, they don't have the time, they won't take the time to eat that much better. Supplementation becomes the workable method of helping that person get things into their diet that they just won't do because they're not going to be a saint when it comes to food.
Great, because one of the doctors we interviewed said that she ate a perfect diet and she kept it in her computer and she still had to take supplements even eating a perfect diet.
I think there's a case to be made for anyone needing supplements. If someone came to me and said, I eat a perfect diet, I have my organic garden, I'm doing my juices, I balance my proteins, and I have all the fresh foods and fiber-rich foods, and I don't need supplements, I would entertain that case as being realistic. Certainly you can live like that and live well.
But very few people do that.
Very
so
small
you recommend juicing then?
Juicing is a great supplementary form of eating. Juices are nearly perfect foods in many ways. Your body is a juicer. We walk around in a juicer all day long.
That's great, Arlo. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, the problem you run into is that most people's juicers break down as they go through life. They don't know how to repair the juicer they're walking around in, and they're not juicing the food effectively.
Right, so poor health. So we're going to take a break right now, go to Dr. Deepak Chopra, and we'll be right back because let's talk about what is poor health. Okay. Our new section, and we're interviewing Dr. Deepak Chopra, author of Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. Now, Dr. Chopra, at Health Styles, we believe that everything you eat, drink, and think directly affects your health. So we'd like to know how powerful you think the mind is in affecting our health.
The mind is all powerful. You know, people have the idea that aging is influenced by genetic programming. And yet, if you look at the data, you'll find that if your parents live to be over the age of 80, that adds only about 3 years to your life. But how you eat, how you think, how you behave, and most importantly, how you perceive yourself in the world that you live in, can influence the quality of your life and the quantity of your life by about 30 to 50 years.
By 30 years?
Yes.
Just how you, all of these things together. Well, tell us, how can you change how you think about yourself, how other people see you?
The main thing is to dismantle beliefs about the aging process that are based on a superstition, and I call it the superstition of materialism. Our beliefs about the aging process are not based on scientific fact. For example, mostly everyone believes that aging is fatal. But if you look at the scientific data, you'll find that nobody ever dies of old age. They die of diseases that accompany old age, and these are all preventable. Almost everyone believes that aging is irreversible, that it's a one-way street. Well, there are 12 biological markers of aging, including things like bone density, blood pressure, basal metabolic rate, blood sugar concentration, the level of sex steroids, hearing thresholds, vision, fat content in the body, aerobic capacity, cholesterol, HDL ratios.
Oh dear.
All these biological markers of aging, without exception, are reversible. And
oh, we can reverse them?
all of them, and not by a little bit, but by many years. There's a Tufts University study that I talk about in the book that took people between the ages of 87 and 96. And after certain interventions, these people, some of them could outperform physically 60 and 50-year-olds.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it. New perspectives. Thank you, Dr. Chopra.